Hi Stampers, this is Dawn and today we're going to make this beautiful Christmas card. Our focus is going to be on this piece of crumb cake. We're going to do the faux leather technique using, of all things, our puff paint that's in the holiday catalog. So let's go ahead and get started. Here are the pieces we're going to use. I'm using the Night of Navy, and this is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then a piece of Whisper White, which is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then a piece of the Wrapped in Plaid designer paper. This is double-sided. Let me show you some of this paper. It's so beautiful. It's got the gold foil accents on the one side. Can you see that? So pretty. This is the one we're using today. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now this is the other side, which does not have the foil. And it's still so beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and finish with the measurements. So this piece of Wrapped in Plaid designer paper, this is cut at 4 by 3. And then I have a piece of crumb cake, which is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to do the technique on this piece. And then for the greeting, the Night of Navy is cut at 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then this piece of Whisper White is cut at 2 by 2 1/2. And then you'll need a piece of strip of the Night of Navy, and this is cut at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to trim that down to fit onto the Whisper White piece, all right? So first, let's go ahead and do this technique. Let me grab some wax paper. Okay, so this is just plain wax paper. And what you're going to use is the puff paint, and this is the Snowfall Accents puff paint. And this is very watery, so you want to make sure you shake it up really good. So let me go ahead and shake this off camera. And then we're also using the crumb cake refill, okay? And then we're also using the sponge brayer. Now I will say that this is stained, and this was a brand new foam that I used for this technique. So there must be a little hint of red in this re-inker. But anyway, so when you're using your brayer, I'm assuming that this puff paint is water based as well as the re-inker, so you can just wash this right off, which is what I did with this one. But when you buy the sponge brayers, you get 4 rollers and 2 handles. Okay, so we're just going to use this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up this puff paint, and I'm going to squirt a little dab over there. And of course, this is going to be plenty for this piece here. So if there's any extra, I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple other pieces of the crumb cake so I don't waste it. So with the crumb cake refill, I'm just going to add like 3 or 4 drops, maybe 5 or 6, yeah, however much comes out. If you want a little bit lighter, then you would add more puff paint. If you want it darker, then add more of the refill. All right, so I'm going to use my palette knife, and this comes 3 to a pack, so I'm just using one of them to mix up the puff paint and the re-inker. We want to mix that up. We're changing the color because the puff paint is originally in white. So we're just adding the refill. Now I have not tried this with any other refill, so feel free to use another color like Cherry Cobbler, Night of Navy. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. Okay, so you're going to mix that up. And then I'm going to take my sponge brayer, I'm going to take my crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to run my brayer into this mixture. And then I'm just going to go ahead and roll across the cardstock. Now this change of this technique to the cardstock is going to be very subtle, but I'm going to show you one with and then the one without on the cardstock so you can see the difference. But definitely you're going to be able to feel the difference when you do this technique on your cardstock. And I'm going to grab my heat tool. The heat tool is going to change the dynamics of this background here. So let me grab that. So this is the heat tool, and we're just going to heat set this background on this piece of crumb cake. Okay, so there's the background. So once again, I'm going to tell you that it's very subtle, and I don't even think the camera's going to pick this up, but let me grab a regular piece of crumb cake without the puff paint on there, and you can tell the difference. Can you see the difference now? I know we added the refill, but seriously, this is one of those techniques that you're going to just have to feel in your hands because it feels amazing. Okay, so let me just go ahead and use up this rest of this puff paint on this other card here. Okay, so I have at least a couple pieces here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this at 2.5. So it's going to be 2.5 by 4. So let me grab my paper trimmer. Okay, so make sure this is cut at 4. And then we're going to cut this at 2.5. Okay, so this is going to be for the base of the card, or for one of the layers of the card. All right, so let's bring in our other pieces here. And for this card here that we're making today, I'm going to make the cherry cobbler version, which is going vertical this way. So this is the design that we're going with, but then you can tell how this one looks going horizontal. And then I also added the 3/8 denim ribbon to the side here just to add a little texture to the card. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make this version. And then I'm also using the Everything Festive, and we're using the Merry and Bright stamp right here. And then I cut out the frame already to save some time. And this is from the Frosted Frame dies, and we'll use this one right here. And remember, this is in a bundle where you can save 10%. If you purchase these together, you can get the 10% savings. And those are both in the holiday catalog right now as well. All right, so we're going to grab some adhesive, and we're just going to go ahead and assemble parts of the card. So we're going to first add our designer paper onto this Whisper White piece. I'm going to take our faux leather piece. So hopefully that can show up on camera. I just love this technique. It's so awesome. All right, so this piece is going to get layered over top of the designer paper. Just a tiny bit. And then we're going to take this strip here, that 1/2-inch strip, and we're going to layer this right across that seam right there to kind of hide that. Let me grab my scissors. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this down. Okay, and then this piece is going to get put onto the Night of Navy. Now, depending on what side you want facing up, so you can put the faux leather piece facing up, or you can do the designer paper facing up. It's totally up to you. I think I'm going to put the faux leather piece facing up. That white behind it really makes it pop. So pretty. All right, now let's go ahead and do some stamping. We're going to use the Night of Navy Classic ink, and we're going to stamp the Merry and Bright onto this piece of Whisper White, and I'm just going to use this as a backdrop so I can line this stamp up really nicely. So I'm going to stamp that right in the center of the Whisper White. Remember, this piece is cut at 2 by 2.5. Okay, so then we're going to layer this onto the Night of Navy cardstock. Okay, so now this is where the frame comes in. So I wanted to cut the frame, but of course it's too big, unless you want that look. But I wanted it to be where this little foliage and the snowflakes all are in the corners of this layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half. Just cut this frame right in half. And then we're going to trim this edge off here. And then whatever the foliage edge is over here, we're going to cut it on this edge over here, so it just doesn't stick out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of the Merry and Bright. Then we're going to take the snowflake, put that in the top left, and then this one will go in the bottom right, just like that. Need more adhesive. We're actually making it a custom size to fit our greeting right here. So I'm going to cut this little piece off right here. Okay, so then this is going to go over here like that. So we're going to put some dimensionals on the back side. Okay, so we're gonna put this right on the front. Okay, so now we're gonna add some glitter. We're gonna add the ice glitter. And this is in the holiday catalog as well, and we're gonna use the liquid glue. So I'm just gonna touch the liquid glue on places of this foliage edge right here, and then we'll sprinkle the glitter on top of that. And then the ice glitter really makes it. Now on my cherry cobbler one, I just used the regular Stampin' glitter, and I'll bring that one back in here in just a second, and I'll show you the difference. So pretty. Now stay tuned to the end of the video because I always put pictures of the finished projects so you can get an up-close photo of them. So you'll be able to hopefully see this faux leather technique in the photo a little bit better maybe than the video today. But seriously, you're going to love this technique. It's so fun and just a really nice, unique way to use the new puff paint. I love that. All right, so let me show you the cherry cobbler one again. So here's the cherry cobbler. Oh no, I used the ice for this one. This is the Night of Navy one that I used the Stampin' glitter. So can you tell the difference between the ice and then the regular Stampin' glitter, the Dazzling Diamonds? And then I also used the Shaded Spruce for this Merry and Bright card here. Okay, so then here's the cherry cobbler. Now this one I used the ice glitter too. So pretty. All right, so if you have any questions, just let me know. And then I also have all the items listed below. And then don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you later. Bye.